Yeah, so hello everybody, I'm Vinny. Follow me on Twitter, please. I'm extremely lonely. I saw Hunter Avalone's video. I believe it was called The Problem with My Generation. I thought I'd talk about my generation because it's my generation too. Talking about my generation. I shouldn't have to say this, but obviously this is based on my own experiences and what I've seen of the world, as everything is. You shouldn't have to, put that as a disclaimer, but these are based off the experiences my ripe 20-year-old brain. Yeah, I turned 20. I'm no longer 19. Should probably update my descriptions. Let's get going. I agree with what a lot of Hunter had to say. PC culture is favored, feelings are favored over facts. So I do believe a lot of that's happening. A lot of people are getting fired. I mean, just look at university campuses, you look at Yale and you look at, American University. It's not just over there, okay? The Brits, we got a fair share of it as well. I mean, I'm not a Brit, but I live here, so I kind of have to identify as, what the fuck am I saying? Point is, over here we got it too. I go to an art school. It's not a huge school, so I mean, there's not that sort of campus atmosphere. There's not really a campus. It's sort of just a building. There's a lot of hair dye, and there's a lot of there's just a lot of pretentious pricks. From my experience, a large proportion of the people I interact with and I talk to seem to have put aside civil discussion and put aside differing opinions and debate in favor of the mainstream kind of view on things. I can't entirely blame them. I mean, it's very easy to sort of sit back into this the mainstream popular sort of idea that, feminism is a good thing, or that rape culture is a thing, or, there's a wage gap, which no economist takes seriously, and when you break it down, it's not true. It's been debunked a million times, link below. Either they slide into the mainstream political idea, or, on the other hand, they will just not express their true feelings or true opinions about certain subjects because, You voted Trump! You voted Trump! Oh, yeah! There's kind of a radical side to the left that are kind of scary. The far left, the radical left anyway, they're going a bit crazy. I'm not negating anybody's opinions, alright? You say you have an opinion, I believe you, okay? But in my opinion, it seems like the majority of people either don't express their opinion or just sort of go along with the popular opinion without doing their own research and their own sort of critical evaluation. But the question remains, to make this sort of analytical and not just me ranting, where does this come from? Where does this stem from? Why do we have the generation that we have today? I think it has to do something with quality of life. Quality of life is higher than it's ever been. Say what you will, you moany bitches, this generation has had the most opportunity and the most access to wealth in general, overall, than any other generation before us. We haven't really had to deal with any major disasters. We haven't had to fight in any wars. We haven't, I'm talking about Western society here, obviously. We haven't had to go through any major economic disasters. I mean, there's been hard times, sure. Generally, I think we've been the luckiest and we haven't had to work as hard as past generations. We've had more free time on our hands. We've had more access to opportunities. And I think with that comes a lot more entitlement and a lot more questioning. What am I doing? What am I fighting for? What's my purpose? And this is something I've thought of a lot. In my depressing nights alone in my bed, I think, well, I've never had to go through any struggles. I've never even had a pet die, for fuck's sake. And with struggle, with determination, it comes improvement. Comes the value of work, the value of life, the value of money, the value of happiness. And we've had less of that than any other generation. We've had less struggle. We've had less work, generally speaking. So I think that has caused more millennials who got it easy, who, ironically, they are the privileged ones, and they've just not had to deal with as much struggle. They feel more entitled and they feel like the world owes them something. I went to a student demo recently. We were campaigning, well, I say we, I was there to film it. I didn't really do much campaigning, but they were campaigning for free education. I'm not quite sure where I stand on that matter. I'm not entirely sure if education should be a social matter, but regardless, there's lots of communist flags, there's lots of socialists. The problem I have with it is that something else is out there trying to get us. It's capitalism. Capitalism is the problem. But just wait a second. I mean, let's take a step back. Let's try and think this through. I think this PC attitude that this generation has, this whole PC culture, isn't entirely a bad thing. Capitalism is unarguably the most powerful system in the world. It's given us everything we have today, and it's done that through competition. It's done that through putting ourselves up against each other to a certain point. It's put us up against each other, but for the greater good, to drive innovation, to drive quality. I mean, that's why our quality of life is so high. And we've spoiled ourselves a little bit. We've done harm. I mean, we've had tobacco companies lie and say that cigarettes were good for you. All that shit, you know, they'll say anything to make a little money. But that's the thing, the big companies, the people who are trying to make money, I believe they're a reflection of our cultural beliefs. They will serve us. They will meet the demands of the market. This has been a bad thing, for sure. It's caused lying and greed and deceit. But I think today it's entirely vital to, you know, the next step in human evolution. The big companies suck up to us and to what we believe and what will sell the most. And we have changed what we believe. Our cultural beliefs have shifted to a more PC, more inclusive way of thinking. We have companies going green. We have companies treating their workers, you know, more fairly. We have equal wages, etc., etc. And we have companies lying to us, yes, but they get found out. In this age of internet, of easy access to information, that shit, you know, that shit gets out. There's deceit going on, of course there is. Humans are shitty. When you have companies and the industry shifting to appease the cultural viewpoint, the government follows, especially in the US. The government is funded by the big companies and the big banks. Let's be clear on that. I think we all know it by now. Why isn't anyone doing anything about that? The companies that do best from a moral standpoint in our eyes are the ones that are more likely to succeed in the market. We are changing the way they function and they work and what audiences they target. Back when we were blind to certain realities, like, you know, cancer, in regards to smoking, we were very easily manipulated. And today, not as much. Of course, I think we're still being manipulated, but not as much. I don't think. Maybe I'm being ignorant, but it seems like public opinion today is better than it's ever been. It's more inclusive and it's more PC. And public opinion sways the companies and the industry and ultimately the government. I think we need to uphold the system that encourages competition, that encourages a market that is swayed by public opinion in a society where every opinion has the chance to flourish and to become mainstream and to affect business, the corporation, and government. So I think our generation's way of thinking has done a lot of good. It's kind of swayed opinion and government. I mean, we had, you know, gay and lesbian marriage legalized in the US. That was amazing. I think it's done some good, but let's just not get too carried away. Let's not go too far. Oh, no. Oh, we should film it. I may not have had a bad upbringing. I mean, I was bullied in school. You know, I didn't speak the language when I moved there. For those of you who don't know, I lived in France for 11 years. I moved there when I was 8. So, I mean, if you wanted to use some PC leftist terms, you'd use xenophobia or something. It wasn't xenophobia. It was kids picking on kids. But regardless, I was taught that hard work and determination is key to success. And sometimes I've ignored that and I've paid the consequences. But I'm very glad of my upbringing in that respect. So nature demands conflict and resolution and constant improvement. And I think that's what humanity demands as well. We're not going to improve by giving people handouts who can't be arsed to do anything or to make an effort. In a system like this, there's always going to be people at the bottom and people at the top. That's the natural way of things. It's an ecosystem. That's how it works. It's natural. That's nature. The system is basically a mirror of nature. I do agree that we should be worried about some of the people on the top who hoard resources and have insane amounts of control and power. We should definitely be worried about that. We should definitely, you know, think about it. But since when is hard work and determination not a key factor in succeeding in your life? Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. Capitalism is the problem. Anyway, that was a little ranty, but I think, you know, I think a lot of the entitlements and the bad rep that our generation gets, I think that comes from a higher quality of life and a need to sort of do something and to be empowered. But I don't believe we're all like that. I don't think we are. In fact, I think the majority of us, we're pretty sane, pretty good. Hopefully, I think so though. I think most of us are pretty level-headed, and I think a lot of the this is, you know, the far leftists and the SJWs. I think a lot of people will grow out of that. I think that's sort of a stage, and it comes with experience. And anyway, that's just my opinion. Who am I? Thank you so much for watching this video. Like and subscribe, share, all of that fun stuff. Give me a comment. Let me know what you think. Like, Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Instagram too. Thanks. Oh, I'm hungry.